Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1, An Insolent Weapon, written by Sparrowhawk. The weapon had worked well. Too well. By the third day, HFY knew the world would never be the same again. As she walked through the great halls to the chamber to the High Council who awaited her report, HFY could still hardly believe what had happened. According to accepted arcanogenetic theory, an incident such as this was impossible. The results were supposed to be predictable. No creation was ever surpassing the sum of its parts by such a ridiculous margin. But the results displayed by the weapon were undeniable. In their long war with the Orcs, no other project developed by the elven sorceress had shown such incredible prowess. HFY reached the council chamber. The doors were titanic slabs of oak, carved intricately and inlaid with gold leaf. She spoke a word of opening, and the doors swung back gently, welcoming her to a high council of the elven lords. Welcome, High Sorceress HFY Calariun. We are eager for your report. How fares the new weapon, this new series? The ever so slightly mocking voice of Ross Dorsals, a Lord HFY knew well. The elf was always seeking to undermine her efforts, to put her accomplishments of his personal sorceress above hers. The Carrie-Leon Series 224, HFY clarified, naming the weapon. I assure you, my lords, you shall not be disappointed. Carrie-Leon S224 has performed beyond my wildest expectations. Your proof. On the first day, Carrie-Leon S224 routed the Yubaki and Dermanger Castle. Casualties were suffered at the ratio of 5 orcs to every instance of the Carrie-Leon S224. There was a murmur around the chamber. Elven lords who had previously appeared uninterested leaned forward in their seats. An elder Lord HFY didn't know, raised a hand to speak. That is remarkable achievement. Doran is long remained an impenetrable bastion of the Yubaki. Is there a particular design feature of the 224 to thank? I believe it is the increased density of the modified fast twitch muscle fibers I developed, which allow higher capability of electromagnetical transmission. Sorceress, please, in a language that we can understand. HFY faltered, then continued. They can briefly generate short bursts of strength that overcome the Yubaki's potential ceiling, my lord. More murmurs were heard. Truly remarkable. Is there anything else? On the second day, the Carrie-Leon S224 army took a shortcut through the Yugazi Waste and proceeded to engage the Yubaki army on the other side, taking them by surprise. Casualties were suffered at a ratio of 6 orcs to every instance of Carrie-Leon S224. Rosk Torsel snorted. Ridiculous, he said. Are we to believe that the S224 marched across the inhospitable wasteland and demolished their army in the same day? Do they not feel heat, or not tire? Well, my lord, I made several other key improvements to the design over the older series, said HFY. Carrie-Leon S224 can maintain a stable temperature by secreting a very dilute water-based solution of various bodily materials. This provides a cooling effect by removing energy from the body via evaporation. Right, and how do you explain their stamina? Part of the secretion-based cooling system acting as an effective heat sink. However, I also made several improvements to the ligaments in their legs for more effective use of elastic energy, combined with improved muscles via increased density of slow twitch fibers, which differ from fast twitch fibers by... All right, we don't need to hear the exact mechanism, broke in another lord. Do you have anything else to report? On the third day, the Carrie-Leon S224 army met up with the remnants of the Carrie-Leon 207 army sent to extinguish threats at Lake Highgreen. Together they marched down the Highgreen River towards the Yubaki city of Maizenkoja, where the Carrie-Leon S191 were laying siege. There I ordered the 3 Carrie-Leon series to fully attack. You were successful, I take it, inquired the elder lord who spoke before. Yes. The siege was hard to break, but the combined Carrie-Leon series managed to take the city. We lost all remaining instances of Carrie-Leon S207 and S191. Carrie-Leon 224 suffered casualties of 4 orcs for every instance of S224. The Archlord, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke up. Excellent work, High Sorceress, he said. You have proven yourself most capable. All archaeogenetic losses are acceptable, of course, and we are one step closer to winning the war. With your objective, the fall of Meisenkudja, complete, I ask that you order the Carolean series to march onward to join our greater force. HFY shifted uncomfortably. This is where things got complicated. Unfortunately, my lords, there were some irregularities, she said. What do you mean? After we took Meisenkudja, the Carolean S224 insisted on giving a burial to their fallen and the dead S207 and S191. They then defied my orders to sack the city, and have since settled it themselves, appointed their own rulers. The chamber erupted into chaos. Lords shouted above one another, demanding to be heard. Finally, the Archlord raised a hand for silence. Such insolence cannot stand. How dare you call this a success? A blade that turns against its wielder is worse than useless. It is a threat. I hereby order you to take any remaining forces you have to wipe them out of your failure. HFY took a deep breath. My lords, I came here today with a message, she said. The remaining Carolean S224 number around 20,000. I do not believe that we can defeat them easily while also fighting the Ubaki. In the worst case scenario, they may even join forces against us. I spoke with them, and S224 said that they would still be willing to fight, given fair payment and respect, and full autonomy when the war is done. I believe that would be in our best interest. The lords of the council deliberated for a long time. They argued and shouted, each giving their own opinion on how to proceed. Eventually, they came to the only conclusion that they could. Very well, High Sorceress, the Archlord said. We will employ the S224 to end the war and reward them as deserving. This failure will not be forgotten, but for now, it shall be tolerated. HFY bowed. As you say, my lord. Just one more thing, she said, raising her head. They call themselves human. End of story. Story number 2. Flowers, written by Ozzy Endeavor. But as their next move, the assault in human space was an utter failure. Now I'm stuck in this stupid chamber with no way of knowing what the humans will do next. The cup of water sits in front of me, but I can't give in. It's probably poisoned. The vase that sits nearby is full of what I assumed is flora from Earth. I've tried to knock it over, but the restraint don't let me reach any more than 2 meters away. The door's open, and one of them steps in. Good evening. You know you should drink before you die of dehydration. It's poisoned. You can't pretend that you aren't trying to kill me. You think we poisoned it. You know that you are a prisoner of war, right? You think I'm at your mercy, but I won't go down without a fight. I try my best to spit at them, but I can't get enough moisture into my mouth. We could literally just give you a lethal injection if you really wanted to. Why the feck would we give you poisoned water? You can't use your human mind tricks on me, fiend. They pause for a moment. You think that we are the fiends after your species tried to destroy the Sirius system? Humans are a weed. You are not deserving of a place amongst the stars. The human walks over to the vase and pulls out the plot, holding it between their digits. I see you like using metaphors and allegories. I guess I could join in that. Your species thinks that humans are weed disguised as flowers. You think that we are not deserving of blooming, and so you've tried to pluck us out of the soil. You do not consider whether or not we wish to grow and thrive, only that we somehow impede your ability to do the same. They blow on the plant that they have in their hand, scattering what I assume are seeds. You think we are dandelions. You are a disgrace amongst the species of the galaxy. No sane person would see you as anything differently. That is where you are mistaken. They put the dandelion back in the vase and pulled out another. There are species that see us as delicate beings that must be protected. They take us under their wings and provide us with safety and care. They think us fragile. They assume that we will crumble at the first sight of trouble, and that we would have no chance to bloom if left to fend for ourselves in a dangerous garden of the cosmos. The plant they held seems to have folded in their hand. They think We are mimosas. Again, they replace the plant that they hold another. Others pretend to think that way, when in reality they only try to use us to better themselves. They pluck our petals, one by one, using them for their own gain. They praise us for being saviors and great friends when they only want what we have. When every petal is taken and only the stalk remains, they no longer have a use for us. The golden petals fall to the ground. They think that we are marigolds.
We are the only sane ones then. They thought that you had some worth. We knew you were better off dead.
They hesitate for a second before reaching to another. On the contrary, there are some who saw us as dangerous. They stayed far from us, afraid that we would poison their garden bed. Not unlike you right now. They saw us as utterly toxic to the galaxy, and that we would be its ruin. Their best chance of survival was to pretend that we weren't there, and to avoid it at all costs. The purple flower falls near the gold petals. They think that we are nightshades. They reach to the final plant left untouched and hold it in front of their chest. Let me tell you what we really are. Our species could have been the greatest of allies. Two gorgeous aromas intertwine, amplifying each other and bringing color to a grayscale sky. Our species is one of love, of connection, of trust. But what happens when you break that trust? They grip the plant tightly and flinch for a second. If you try and harm us, if you try and take control of our home and our people, you will bleed, and the sting will stay for eons. They walk towards me and place a plant near the glass of water. It is a single thorn on the stem and dripping with red fluid. The smell of iron fills the air. We are roses. End of story. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. I just want to thank the T5 patrons and channel members. Bob the Dragon, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnold, Estrella the Dreamer, Tryagain95, Futic Yol, Meridian117, Alithia, Jordan Bucksbaum, Angry Marine, Albarden Gusta, and Barkey. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.